Whatever that is yours will be yours. Every day when we wake up, we have to face all kinds of people, all types of situations and matters. We are happy when we meet those who have good affinities with us, and we get agitated on seeing our enemies. Our emotion goes up and down the whole day. We have no control of our mind. We are easily influenced by our surrounding. And what would we do if one day we were to find the robbers in our house? In Taiwan, there was this old and rich lady who had actually met 4 robbers who broke into her house while she was praying. One of them held a knife at her neck and asked her to hang out the keys to the safety box. She looked at them and said calmly, "I'm so old and I do not take care of keys," she continued. "Anyway, just take whatever things you want. I won't shout." She closed her eyes and continued with her recitation.
Namo Amitabha, Namo Amitabha.
Namo Amitabha, Namo Amitabha. She added, "Whatever is yours will be yours, and whatever belongs to me will be mine." So 3 robbers left to carry the things they want, leaving one standing by her side. The lady opened the eyes and saw him. She said, "You don't have to point that knife at me. It is better for you to go and help them, right?" The robber thought that was a good idea, and he left. When they carried all the things down, the son came back in his Mercedes. The robber also forced him to surrender the car to them, and they put all the things into the 2 cars and left. They came in a car. The son ran upstairs as he was worried about his mother. He was so glad to see her sitting there with her beads and her loud recitation. The mother said, "With the blessing of the Buddha, we are not harmed by these people." The mother and son consoled one another and were grateful to the Lord Buddha. The 4 robbers went up the highway and they sped off. Unfortunately, they were stopped by a police roadblock. The policeman checked their identity cards and license. They found that the back of the car was overflow with things and the bonnet was hanging up. Then they saw the safety box and became suspicious. After making a few enquiries, they concluded that these were robbers. The robbers were forced to carry all the things back to the owner's house. They were ordered to place the things back to their original position. The old lady said, "Didn't I tell you? Whatever belongs to you will be yours, and whatever belongs to me will be mine. Thank you for sending back my things. Namo Amitabha, Namo,
Namo Amitabha.
Namo Amitabha, Namo Amitabha." Will you be as calm as the old lady? Or you will be shouting, trying to put up a fight with them, calling in the police? Then you will find yourself harmed by them. In the Pure Land practice, this is called illuminating and yet dwelling in stillness. What is meant by illuminating? It is living in accord with conditions. The condition here is facing the robbers. What is meant by dwelling in stillness? It refers to a mind which is not disturbed by conditions. The mind is listening to its recitation of the Buddha Amitabha. And with the merits and virtues of the Buddha and his efficacious light on those who recite his name, even bad situations and bad people will have no way to harm us. This is a story told by Venerable Master Shi Jianyin. The old lady and son are his lay disciples. Manjushri and the king. If you are always respectful and are grateful to all the people, all the happenings and everything around you, even simple things such as a glass of water, a bowl of rice, your life will be strengthened with abundant energy of being respectful. At that time, the people, the matters, and the things which you are respectful of will bring to you the same respect you've shown them. Manjushri and his disciples arrived at a stony bridge. The Venerable received the Dharma lineage of the first great and perfectly enlightened teacher, Haridoji. They saw the king, who was the follower of the deviant sect, arrived on the opposite side of the bridge. The king, who was sitting on an elephant, came with his army. The soldiers waved the king's flag, shouting out loud, trying to frighten the great teacher and his disciples. They looked as though they were ready for a fight. The great and perfect Vajra teacher remained calm. He raised his index finger and presented the seal to erase all hindrances. In the sound of a great roar, the king and his seat were broken into 2 pieces. The soldiers were astonished. 2 elderly ministers came forth to seek repentance before the great teacher. They said, "The great teacher, who is humane and kind, of course you have the right to cross the bridge first. This is because the Buddha is the fully enlightened one, who is the spiritual teacher for all, who knows all." The teacher smiled. He used his spiritual power to restore the life of the king and his elephant. He said, "What I respect is not the king in the human realm, neither do I care to run away from the troop of elephants. With one step I can fly over the great hills and dangerous mountains, and I can rise into the sky easily." The king alighted from the elephant and made obeisance to the teacher. Together with his followers, they sought to become the Buddha's lay disciples. The teacher said, "In the law of karma, the working of cause and effect is genuinely true. Besides this, nothing really arises in the self-nature of emptiness, which is limitless, inconceivably great, pure, and flawless. Everyone is endowed with the Buddha nature. All of you have long been accepted." The king and his followers listened patiently. Again the teacher said, "Do not be attached to self and one's belonging. Throw away all the concepts of the differentiation of being external or internal, done or being done, good or bad, discard them, and you will fully understand everything and see things clearly." Sampragata, the Buddhist way to purify the food before eating. In the present society, we often face the problems of unhygienic food, even though we become vegetarians so as to avoid the various hormones, antibiotics that people purposely inject into the poor animals. Our diet is still unsafe. More often than not, the vegetables we eat are polluted with the injection of coloring so as to make them look greener, the addition of toxic and insecticide in unsafe farming. In what way can we save ourselves? The Buddha once faced the problem of being offered the poisonous food. This is how the story goes. One day a man of the deviant path, Sri Jitwa, invited the Buddha and his disciples to receive the offering of food at his house. He aimed to kill the Buddha and his disciples by adding poisons to the food when they were being prepared. He also set up a fire pit in the compound and covered the fire with layers of grass and soil. The Buddha and his disciples arrived. When the Buddha raised his foot and stepped onto the pit, a red lotus bloomed and supported his feet. Together with his disciples, they entered the house. By stepping on lotuses arose from the fire pit, which was then transformed into a lotus pond. The evil man was most regretful. He told the Buddha the truth about the food, and he wanted to replace it. The Buddha said that it was unnecessary. He ordered Ananda to pass the words to all the disciples not to eat the food until Sampragata was pronounced. Ananda again asked a monk to carry a small amount of food, walked to the front of the Buddha and senior monks, bowing down with respect to offer the food and sung Sampragata aloud. The Sangha then partook of the food. No one was killed with the awesome power of the Buddha and the secret strength of the word, Sampragata. Sampragata can be translated as the arrival of goodness, the way of being good and proper, the practice of equanimity in making offering. For a Buddha reciter, it is best if he can recite Namo Amitabha Buddha 10 times before eating or during the process of eating. By doing so, all the toxic will be transformed into wholesomeness.
Namo Amitabha Buddha.
Namo Amitabha Buddha. Namo Amitabha Buddha. The Buddha told his father, King Suddhodana, to recite Namo Amitabha Buddha. When someone passed away in our family, most of us will cry for them, asking them not to leave us, beg them to come back, screaming, scolding the God and heaven for being unfair. All these are useless, just the expression of emotion. We forgot that the deceased was also at a loss, and more often than not, he did not realize he was dead. He needs our help. The Buddha said that the tears we shed for the departure of our loved ones since the time of no beginning was as much as the water in the four great ocean. In the Sutra of Accumulative Jewels, the Buddha told his father, the King Suddhodana, all living beings are Buddhas. You should be mindful of Amitabha in the Western Pure Land of ultimate bliss. You should recite the Buddha's name diligently. Then you will attain the Buddha path. Why do you say that all living beings are Buddhas? The Buddha answered, there is no arising in all the Dharma. There is no movement in all the Dharma. There is no getting or letting go. There is no appearance. There is no self-nature. So your mind should dwell in the Buddha Dharma. Do not believe in others. At that time, the Buddha's father, the King Suddhodana, and 70,000 Sakyans listened to the Dharma. They understood and had faith in the Dharma. Their mind was open to the enlightenment of the patience of no birth. So recite Namo Amitabha Buddha, Namo Amitabha Buddha, continually, if we desire to help our loved ones.
Namo Amitabha Buddha we have to recite.
Amitabha means immeasurable lifespan and immeasurable lights. What is meant by immeasurable lifespan and immeasurable lights? It's our innate nature, which is not bound or controlled by the time of this world. Time is an illusion of the false mind. Immeasurable lights is the innate wisdom which is never lost, even though we transmigrate in the samsara. Amitabha Buddha had succeeded in bringing his 48 vows to fruition after he had cultivated the 210 billion bodhisattva practices for 5 great kalpas for the sake of saving living beings in the seas of birth and death. Reference the Sutra of Immeasurable Lifespan. He put all the merits and virtues of his great practices in the name Namo Amitabha. So by reciting Namo Amitabha, we are receiving all the merits and virtues of the Buddha Amitabha. The following are the steps to rely on the Buddha's strength to help our loved ones. 1. Recite Namo Amitabha Buddha 3 times. Namo Amitabha Buddha, Namo Amitabha Buddha, Namo Amitabha Buddha. 2. Seeking help. I, by the name, seek the help of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to emit the bright light to shine on and bring him/her to the Pure Land. 3. Talking to the deceased. I will recite Amitabha for you. Tell the deceased you have passed away already. Tell him/her twice so that he/she knows the dangers at that state whereby he/she might fall down to the 3 lower realms to undergo great suffering. I invite you to recite Amitabha together with us. The Buddha will bring your lotus to receive you. When the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas come to receive you, please go with them. 4. Divide the time among the family members to recite Namo Amitabha for at least 8 hours, 1 day or 5 days, sitting by the side of the deceased. 5. Recitation should be loud enough for oneself to hear one's voice. 6. Arrangement of funerals. 7. We can recite for 49 days for for the deceased, maybe 1.5 hours in the morning and 1.5 hours at night. 8. With our sincerity to help, the Buddha will show us a response, as the Buddha loves every one of us like his only child. The Buddha wants us to be happy. Namo Amitabha Buddha. According to Great Master Shandao, Namo is taking refuge, making vows, and the transference of merits to attain a rebirth in the world of ultimate bliss. Amitabha is his practice. Because of such meanings, the calling of Namo Amitabha Buddha enables one to be born in the Pure Land. Do take good care of your mind. In the ancient time in India, there lived a rich man who had 4 wives. One day he was going to travel to a faraway country. He asked his 4th wife, whom he loved so much, "Darling, do you want to follow me to this new country?" The youngest wife answered, "No way, I will stay back here." Then he asked the 3rd wife, who was so pretty and lovely, and who was loved by everyone, to follow him on this tour. She said, "Sorry, I don't love you. You snatched me away by force. I'll marry other man when you leave." He asked the 2nd wife, and she answered, "Sorry, dear. Though I love you, I will not follow you there, but I will send you to the mountain before we part."
Finally, the rich man went to ask his first wife, whom he had neglected for so long, to follow him. And surprisingly, she said, "Yes, I will go with you." In this story, the Torah is transmigration of life. The 4th wife is our body. Even though we love it so much, we feed it daily, beautify it, clean it, and worry about it all the time. When it's time to die, it just leaves us.
The 3rd wife is the money we treasure so much.
We study, work, and earn a hard living the whole life, yet we cannot bring even 1 cent along when we die.
The 2nd wife refers to our loved ones. When we die, they can only send us to the burial ground. The 1st wife is our mind. It will follow us when we pass away from this life. A good mind carries all its merits and virtues along, and a bad mind carries along all the negative states. So please take good care of your mind while you are still alive. Fill up your mind with the merits and virtues of Namo Amitabha Buddha. What is the point to regret at our deathbed? It will be too late. 10 simple ways to a meaningful life. Ways of practicing Dharma the right way and accumulating Dharma merits in life. The world can be seen as an abundance of happiness, yet suffering is here to stay among us. Many of us would wonder, besides family, 9-to-5 job, celebrations, and what else could make our life more meaningful, and collecting good merits before leaving this world. There is a way to gain a purposeful life, as well as collecting good merits to be brought along with us after life to the Pure Land of Amitabha Buddha, besides chasing over dreams and materials needed for this life. The question is, do you have the determination and patience to practice it? Eventually you can, if you have trust in the Dharma and not merely just acknowledging it. 10. Practices and vows of the Bodhisattva Samantabhadra. The first is to worship and respect all Buddhas. The 2nd vow is to praise the thus come ones. The third is to cultivate the giving of offerings. The 4th, to repent and reform all karmic faults. The 5th, to compliantly rejoice in merit and virtues. The 6th, to request the turning of the Dharma wheel. The 7th is to request that the Buddha dwell in the world. The 8th, to always follow the Buddhas and study. The 9th is to forever accord with living beings. The 10th, to universally transfer all merit and virtue.